But how do you not give the MVP of the weekend to moms? It was Mother's Day weekend. And I think for me, as being a mom, I didn't realize how much moms did until you're a mom yourself. And you see all the little things that you have to do that are kind of thankless for your child. And think about all these athletes and think about how many practices their mom probably had to drive them to, and all of the things and all of the sacrifices that they had to make in order for their child to make it to the big leagues or to the NBA or to whatever. And I think this is why you see so many athletes very vocal and expressing their gratitude to their moms. We've seen it with Kevin Durant calling his mom the real MVP. We've seen it with Lamar Jackson, who seems to have his mom at every single press conference or award show. Yeah. What do you think is something that your mom did for you that you did not realize was a big deal until you got older?
That's a very good question. I think ultimately what it was supporting me at a time when I had a lot of self-doubt as to whether or not I was going to be successful or not, which, success is certainly something that's, it's arbitrary. What does success mean? But at least for me, I had an idea of what I wanted to do with my life. And there were times when I was like, I don't know if this is going to work out for me. And my mom, I remember very vividly saying, I want you to listen to me. You have the talent to do all of this. It's just a matter of time, or you continuing to apply yourself. There is no doubt in my mind. And it was coming from a place where, of course, moms are going to be supportive. You would hope. That's what a great mom does. But my mom really meant it. And so at a time when I didn't know, I thought, well, maybe I should do something differently. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. And she was adamant about saying, no. That's absolutely not true. You were born to do this. You've always been this way. You've just got to be patient, honey. And so for me, looking back now, it didn't really resonate with me at the time. It kind of sounded like just a mini pep talk, but that's something that resonated with me over time, where I thought, I'm glad my mom was there to give me a push in the right direction when I could have maybe gone down a different road. And after the game, you have the audacity to say, I can't do it alone. No, you can't. You know what? Your teammates need to help you if you're going to score 15 points as the MVP in a Game 7. Am I overreacting to this? But I heard the soundbite and I thought, you got to be kidding me. You sucked in Game 7. You were not great in this series. You're the MVP, and you and James can't do it alone? No, because you need help. What am I missing here?
I thought this was the wrong soundbite. I'm like, this can't be from Game 7. The game that Joel Embiid scored 15 points. Are you kidding me? No one even says this. You know who deserves to say this sometimes? Nikola Jokic. He put up 50 points at a loss in his last series, but you know what he didn't say? He didn't say, well, I can't win games alone. He didn't say that. And it's honestly not true in this situation either, because Joel Embiid, you got to be more than just 15 points in a Game 7. You are the MVP of the league. This is an award that you've been campaigning for, and now you've got to show it off in the postseason. So, yeah, this was really, kind of upsetting to hear him say this. Like, imagine if you're one of his teammates and thinking, well, I'm not the MVP. The offense runs through you, brother. So, yeah, this is a tough way to end the season. I know that it's fresh off a loss and everybody's frustrated, but still, to throw your team under the bus like this, it's not a good look.
Are you now buying into the Lakers? Because as someone who admittedly was a skeptic, I kept talking about these old guys, but I am proud of the Lakers for making this midseason adjustment where they get rid of Russell Westbrook. They make the trade for D'Angelo Russell. They tweak the roster. They tighten up their defense. They're undefeated at home in the postseason. A completely different team than the one that started this season 2-10. Are you buying in on LeBron and the Lakers now?
I think I need to see one game of this series before I make up my mind. But the downfall in doing that is if the Nuggets run the table in this game, you're not going to get a good price on the Nuggets anymore. Because right now they're sitting at minus 145, like you said, to win the series. I think I'm on that train. I do think the Nuggets come out on top, whether it's, in a few games and they look absolutely dominant like they have for the entire postseason, or if it takes 7 games, because I think if it goes that long, this is a Lakers team that going into the postseason, it felt like they were running out of steam. And also, they have had the much more difficult road, having to come in through the play-in games. Meanwhile, the Nuggets are sitting pretty. They have better depth here. But also, I think this is a much different matchup than what we've seen for both teams. It's a combination of the Lakers coming in with the number one defense in the postseason against a Nuggets team where Nikola Jokic has been cruising. Nobody has come even close to stopping this guy. Game in and game out, it's triple doubles. It's scoring at least 25 points, hitting his points prop, it seems like, every night. But now he's going to go against Anthony Davis, one of the premier defenders of big men in the entire league. But on the other end, I'll say this. The Lakers should have an easier time on the defensive end as well, because LeBron James has had excellent defenders, being, the guy that's having a guy that's had to stop him every single series. And in this series, who are the Nuggets going to put on him? Aaron Gordon? I think LeBron will have a much easier matchup this time around. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. I think in game one, we ride with the trend that brought us here, and that is the Nuggets at home. So I'll be laying the 5 with the Nuggets.
Who is your Monday MVP?
Well, I think you just got to go with Jayson Tatum, don't you? Don't you have to here? I mean, they needed him to step up in this critical game 7, and this is what he did last year, where the Celtics are down 3-2 to the Bucks. They get a couple wins. It propels them forward. And I think this is huge for a couple reasons. Number one is, A, the Celtics obviously advanced. But B, I keep thinking back to last year's NBA Finals when Jayson Tatum was going in and it looked like the Celtics might topple the Warriors, and Jayson was trying to channel Kobe and wearing the wristbands and all those different things. And it just didn't work out for him. Like, he just underperformed and was not good in that series. So part of that is just a learning process in the NBA when you're a superstar, learning how to win, learning how to overcome in those big moments. And this was a massive moment for Jayson Tatum, and he got it done. There's no denying 51 points. That is an NBA record for points in a Game 7 in the playoffs, and he did it when the Celtics needed it most. I think it's huge because they're moving on and for his confidence moving forward, particularly if the Celtics make it back to the NBA Finals. So give me Jayson Tatum. Might be the obvious choice, but he's the guy.
Has to be the obvious choice. Like you said, the most points for a player in a Game 7 in NBA history. How do you not give it to Jayson Tatum? And at the top of the segment, we were talking about how important confidence is for players and their road to success. This is exactly what it means for Jayson Tatum, somebody who's been a young player. He's been to the NBA Finals, but I think he needed this for his confidence, and especially after his Game 6 performance where he started the game 0 of 10 from the field. I think it shows a lot of mental resolve to rebound from those couple of games where he was not really a factor, to being, the biggest factor in the fourth quarter of that game and then leading into Game 7. So he is the superstar that the Celtics needed to advance out of this series, and also one for the record books. How do you not give Monday MVP to a guy that just set an NBA record? So Jayson Tatum, for me, MVP of the weekend.
In the Eastern Conference, Chelsea, Wednesday in Boston is when we get Game 1 between the Heat and the Celtics. Celtics laying 7.5 points. Celtics minus 350 on the money line. Total set at 209 and a hook. If you're looking at the series price here, Celtics minus 500, Heat plus 375. Title prices, Celtics your favorites at plus 110. The Heat are 12-1. Are you going to lay this big number with the Celtics, or will you play them a different way?
Doesn't it feel like a Celtics hangover spot to where they had a very emotionally draining 7-game series with the Sixers, where it took 51 points from Jayson Tatum in Game 7 of that one, and they had to come from behind in that series. They were not leading that Sixers series the entire time, to where I feel like it's going to be a sleepy spot. And maybe they win this game against a Heat team that has proven that they are viable underdogs in just about every single situation. So I think I will take the 7.5 with the Heat. The Celtics have proven that sometimes when they're laying these big numbers, especially at home, that they are not good at covering said numbers.
Yeah, I just think this is way too big of a number. And as we've seen from the Heat will fight. They are absolute fighters and grinders. And at some point, will they run out of gas? I think that's mainly the question you have to ask with the Heat, because they're just so thin. But I'll give them credit. whether it's Gabe Vincent, Max Struss, Kyle Lowry coming off the bench, guys that you don't normally think about when you think about the Heat. They have contributed, even though clearly Jimmy Butler has been the guy. But I think the Celtics probably expended a lot of energy yesterday. At least Jayson Tatum did. Now, he left the game with 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, but there's no way you drop 51. You're not a little bit worn out. This feels like recency bias for me, where the last thing we're going to remember is the Celtics dominating the Sixers and Tatum dropping 51. And we sort of forget that the Heat, even though they're an 8 seed, have been so very good in the playoffs. So I'm going to grab Miami tomorrow night.